This is the 12 match races of Christmas, where us, the Triple Clowns, present to you some dream matchups. We are constantly working on original and I think groundbreaking horse racing shows that are informative and also, at the end of the day, fun, guys. So hit that like, subscribe button, and that notification bell. Also, follow us on Twitter at Clowns Triple and all other social media platforms, because we are going to bring you new shows. That's right, new shows that include horse racing conspiracies and odd stories, handicapping 101. We're going to do live picks from the track, and of course, our show where we interview great guests and we do some horse racing skits that are a good time. Support us so we can keep going, trailblazing in the horse racing industry. From AJ Ryder, Sarah Marie, and of course, myself, G. Randall Johnson. Happy holidays, and let's get it on with the 12 match races of Christmas. All right, so once again, one of our 12 match races of Christmas. And this is a big name one, let's just say. And so, of course, we had to have a big name guest on here. And that is, nobody chuckle. Why is everybody chuckling? I don't know why. Because
he chuckled first.
Ed chuckled first, so you guys all caught the chuckle. And that would be the one, the only, Ed DeRosa. You know him. You love him. Ed, thank you for coming on.
It's my pleasure. This is should be a spirited debate.
Absolutely.
We're excited.
We are excited. We have been debating everybody and losing a lot. So we need a win here, guys. We need a win. But we're going to have Seabiscuit against Cigar. Ed has chosen Seabiscuit. So we have Cigar. All right. So this is the tail of the tape. And in the blue corner, hailing from Lexington, Kentucky, with an impressive battle-tested record of 89 starts, 35 firsts, 15 seconds, and 1/3. He is the owner of major wins that include the Scarsdale Handicap, Massachusetts Handicap, Brooklyn Handicap, Butler Memorial Handicap, Riggs Handicap, San Juan, Casper Toronto Handicap, Bay Meadows Handicap, Agua Caliente Handicap, Have de Grace Handicap, a match race versus Ligatori, Pimlico Stakes versus War Admiral, Hollywood Gold Cup, San Antonio Handicap, Santa Anita Handicap. This is your 1938 U.S. Horse of the Year. And in American legend, Seabiscuit. And in the red corner, hailing from Maryland, with an impressive record of 33 starts, 19 firsts, 4 seconds, 5/3. His major wins include the Naira Mile, Oaklawn Handicap, Gulfstream Park Handicap, Hollywood Gold Cup, Jockey Club Gold Cup, Pimlico Special, Breeders' Cup Classic, Don Handicap, Massachusetts Handicap, Woodward Stakes, Dubai World Cup, Arlington Citation Challenge. This is your 1995 and 1996 Eclipse Award-winning Horse of the Year and owner of a 16-race win streak, Cigar. And for the rules, Ed, which you already know, I hope, correct? You know the rules.
Oh, yeah.
All right. For everybody else out there, these are the rules. AJ, tell them the rules.
All right. Well, our contest consists of 3 rounds. The first round, each contestant in our show will have an opportunity to present their opening argument. Each opening argument will be limited to 1 minute only. The second round is the Q&A with the judges. Each judges will get an opportunity to ask each contestant as many questions about each horse as they'd like. There is no time limit on this round. The final round consists of a free-for-all battle royale lasting 1 minute 30 seconds, where each contestant goes back and forth presenting their argument, and well, we'll just see what happens then. And at the end of the 3 rounds, the remaining 2 judges will then confer and decide our winner.
Okay, so here's the fun part, Ed. You get to pick one of the clowns to go against in this debate, and we don't know who it is.
You don't.
We don't. Well, we don't know because you haven't told us. So of course we don't know. I'm telling the
So are you
audience
ready?
that, Ed. We don't know who you're going to go against. So you're going to tell us right now. You pick a clown. Who are you going to debate? The other 2 clowns are going to be the judges and all that other good stuff. Ed, who are you going against?
I'm taking you on.
You taking me? As in me?
Yeah.
Randy.
Well, that's what. Yeah.
All right. What are you crazy yet? Come on. I mean, you have these two. These are softballs.
I know. Well,
Okay.
That's good.
I
And
love a challenge.
I had about 0 prep time for this, so I didn't really look
You
at
are
it.
so relieved right now. Okay.
And I knew I made the right choice when I saw you in that crazy hat.
Bam.
This is true.
It was the hat that gives it away every time.
Can you find my notes on Cigar?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so we're gonna go at it now. You get the choice to go first or second in the first opening arguments round. And would you like to go first or second?
Wow, I get all sorts of choices.
Yeah, I know. This is why we put ourselves behind the 8 ball every
This is
time.
why
Yeah,
we lose.
you're I'll be the home team. I'll go second.
All right. Shocker. Everybody does this to me.
All right. Well, we are going to start round 1. AJ, do you want to get the clock for us going and tell Randy when he can start?
All right, Randy.
Let me get my cigar stuff up real quick.
Nope. Your time begins when I say it does. So if you're not ready, then you're not ready.
There we go. All right. Did it begin?
All right. Randy, your time starts now.
Okay, first off, I have to say, listen, we all love Seabiscuit. We saw the movie. And then just remember, everybody, it's a movie. Okay, now if Cigar was doing the same thing back in the day, he would be considered, great. Seabiscuit fell into this perfect time period with everything that he was great. So everybody's going to say that. But look what Cigar did in his lifetime. I mean, Seabiscuit wasn't very good at first. Let's face it. And I know we're going to bring up the match race because this is what it is. But we're going to go with Jerry Bailey said, this is a horse that actually pulled up on the side of other horses and actually looked it in the eye and ran away from these horses. That was all movie stuff with Seabiscuit. His first win, he was in 1993. He won 2 of 9. Okay. But he came around. He was one of the best horse races of all time. We have the Naira Mile, Oaklawn Handicap, Gulfstream Park Handicap, Hollywood Gold Cup. The Massachusetts Handicap, by the way, at Suffolk Downs, which is huge, and Seabiscuit won that. Is that time?
Yeah.
All right, I fucked around too much with the movie stuff. That was my fault.
Behind the 8 ball already.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
All right.
I mean, I now know that Seabiscuit was a movie and slightly fictionalized.
I know, that
so
was
there's
my
that.
fault. Don't worry, I'll come back in the next round.
Yeah.
Got the Q&A.
Yep.
All right, Ed, you ready?
I feel like I should stand pat here. What can I say that could be better than the case he already made for me?
Yeah, it's true. Silly. I know.
I'm ready, though.
I know.
All right, Ed, your time starts now.
I think this is a really fascinating matchup, in part because both are, in my mind, 2 of the most overrated horses of the 20th century. Cigar for what he did on the track, and Seabiscuit because everyone loves the book and movie. I didn't really love it, and I'm glad it was brought up as a point that romanticized Seabiscuit, because I actually think he's better than the movie made him out to be. One of the most ridiculous scenes in cinema history when it comes to the turf is that he made this big closing move in the big cap, the big return and win. And he was actually a horse who preferred to be closer to the pace. And I think that's a huge edge when it comes to match races. He beat a Triple Crown champion in a match race, the one we're all familiar with War Admiral. But he also beat a horse at Del Mar, giving 15 pounds, owned by the people who ran Del Mar, and he still beat him and survived a steward's inquiry to do it. So he has match race experience, which I love, and he's more forwardly placed than people think, and I see that as a huge benefit when it comes to a race like this.
Okay.
Ooh.
That was good. I like the fact that we're debating a movie pretty much
Yeah.
half the time.
I mean, everyone goes on and on about the book, and I bored me to tears.
Oh, that's so weird. I love that. I actually love the movie and book.
Yeah, I mean, I really like Sauce.
It was the first book
it.
Randy learned to read from.
Oh, well, I could
So,
see why
10
it would be
years ago.
sentimental then.
It's a milestone.
10 years ago.
No, it was last week, but all right.
We had to be ready for the debate.
Exactly. Let's move on to round 2. This is where AJ and I get to cross-examine both of you. So we'll start off with AJ here.
I guess you can both kind of answer this question, but Ed, I'll start with you. Is it? Let me see how I want to word it. Your horse ran in the late 1930s as opposed to a horse now. I mean, can we really be able to compare the two, having run about 60 years apart?
Well, it is the tough thing for me as a speed handicapper is I don't have numbers to use to compare. And certainly Cigar ran some gaudy figures in his time, multiple grade one winner. My issue though is Seabiscuit ran 89 times. He had 33 wins. That's the number of times Cigar ran total. So Seabiscuit won as many races as Cigar ran in. And nowadays we have 4, 5, 6 weeks between starts. Trainers condition their horses up to these big races, expecting a big performance every time. Back in the 30s, they ran in allowance races between stakes. So it is tough to compare when you look at Seabiscuit's record and you say, well, he lost a lot. Well, back then it was okay to lose. Now it's a travesty if a horse you think is, a world-class animal gets beat. So for that reason, I don't hold the losses against Seabiscuit. He won the races he was supposed to win. He won the biggest races, and he ran in the mass cap, as Randy noted, as did Cigar. And to me, it doesn't bother me that he lost so many races.
Do you have a rebuttal to that?
Well, I will say, I do think, I understand what you're saying, Ed, he did run more races, but here's a horse that just won every time he was out for a substantial period. I mean, this is a big winning streak for this one horse, Cigar, who didn't just like to lose. And for that time period, if we're looking at a match race at that time, this horse was unbelievable. And when you look at his, just say his prime, and Ed probably will agree with this, is maybe his classic win at 1.25 miles, which we're going, and in the mud, and set a record time in Hollywood. I think that's something that little horse Seabiscuit couldn't do at that time. And I'm being that person that says the Pittsburgh Steelers line against the line nowadays. I'm just saying that time, I don't think Seabiscuit could ever run that time at Hollywood. And that's what I would say about that.
All right. Well, AJ, I know I'm going to steal your question, but I know Ed had touched on this already, the pace scenario here. Do you agree with Ed previously stated of this pace scenario for this race?
That's a hard one. For me, you're asking me this.
Yeah.
That's a hard one for me because it's really hard to know. I didn't look at the fractions of what was going on in 1901 or whenever that was there.
38.
1938, same thing at this point, but I think the pace scenario is basically like, I think he could even be close, Cigar. I think Seabiscuit might have the lead around the turn, but I think Cigar is going to run this horse down. I think they're going to be even on the back stretch, and he's going to run by him in the stretch. I just think I'm going to go with the newer horser faster. And I know we had the Man of War thing. It might have been different, but Seabiscuit's times weren't that crazy. So pace scenario, I think, yes. I think Seabiscuit has the lead around the turn. I think Cigar goes by Seabiscuit. But I think he pulls up closer to him than everybody thinks.
All right. AJ, do you have another question?
I didn't know if Ed was going to.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, am I allowed to? Well, raw times is always a tough gauge, especially back from the 30s. But, Seabiscuit was 11-5 against War Admiral. He was expected to lose. I'm guessing that made War Admiral, 3-5, probably less, 2-5 in that match race. And he got within a nose, and Seabiscuit pulled away and won by 4. So I definitely get, the Bailey thing with Cigar, and he'd look horses in the eye or whatever, talk about romanticism. Randy did more for Cigar there than Hollywood ever did for Seabiscuit. But the Pimlico special, to me, just shows that Seabiscuit is a good match race horse. And then looking at the field sizes of his races, 13, 11, 12, 10, 10, Cigar, the biggest field he ever faced in a win was 11. So Seabiscuit's used to bigger fields too, and he's handled the match race pressure. And he did it in one case, giving 15 pounds to his opponent. So to me, one of the keys to this debate is that it is a match race, and I think that unquestionably favors Seabiscuit.
All right.
So Ed, you touched earlier that both of these horses are extremely overrated in your opinion. I can understand Seabiscuit because obviously they did make a Hollywood movie about him, and so obviously that makes everything look.
part of it.
What's your case on Cigar? I mean, he was named 1990s Horse of the Decade. I mean,
Yeah.
what's your? I'd be interested to hear your case there.
Yeah, I'm very literal when it comes to words like overrated. Like, for instance, for me, Spectacular Bid is the best ever, so he can't be overrated. You can't overrate a horse who belongs at number one. And likewise, people will say, "Oh, Zenyatta was overrated," and I would say, "Well, how do you think people rate her?" And if they say, "Well, some people say she's the best ever," well, okay, yeah, that's overrating Zenyatta. But if you say, "Well, some people put her in the same class as Ruffian," or Me-esque or whatever, I'd say, well, to me, that's not overrating her. That's where she belongs. And Cigar, to me, gets overrated. People put him in the same category as the Triple Crown winners from the 70s. I just don't think he's there. I thought the 90s as a decade of racehorses just had a lot of, Randy mentioned Seabiscuit came around at the right time. Well, he beat a Triple Crown winner in a match race. Cigar came at a time when we hadn't seen a Triple Crown winner since 1978. We were definitely lacking superstars then. And he came around and he won the right races. And he's unquestionably one of the best in the 90s. But for me, that's all he is. Go Sapper was better. Sunday Silence was better. Easy Goer was better. John Henry was better. Horses from this decade were better. American Pharaoh, Wise Dan. So the 90s is where he belongs. And I don't think he could be one of the best from the 30s.
Whew. All right. Well, I think with that being said, we need to lead into round 3. AJ, unless you have any other questions.
No, let's battle royale this bitch.
All right, round 3, the battle
Over
royale.
the top row.
Yep, you guys have a minute and a half. AJ will get the clock ready, and it is a minute and a half free for all between you two.
Okay, and I got to start first because of what he said.
But-
with,
Are you gonna
Everything you said can be stricken from the record time.
I didn't say
Has it
anything.
started yet?
all right.
Yeah. You can't start till time goes. You can't get a head start.
He's just ready.
You have actually. I think can we penalize him for that? He can't talk within the first 5 seconds for starting too early.
This is stupid.
So Ed, you can start this conversation whenever you're ready.
Damn it.
I just think like I said, this is a great matchup because everything that was said against Seabiscuit, you could say about Cigar. I mean, they're trying this horse on the turf. They didn't know what they had. I don't get holding that against Seabiscuit when Cigar had, granted, not quite the same futility as a 2-year-old, but certainly took a while to get going.
Listen, and I'm going to go right to the fact of what he went against. What he went against. I'm going to say that in the 90s, I agree with you. I know what you're saying. The 90s was a weird time with great horses and Cigar, and I'll agree with you with both them being overrated. But when he won the Hollywood Gold Cup, I mean, he did go against Best Pal. I think Urgent Request, Concern. I mean, he had great wins against really good horses at that time, and he was carrying top weight. I don't think Seabiscuit ever had any horses besides when he had the match race. I mean, that's kind of what I mean. Like he was not battle tested enough. I know he was in enough battles, but was he battle tested enough like Cigar was? And I agree, he didn't go against the best, but what did Seabiscuit go against besides calling out War Abram, who was 3 years old and he was 5? It's kind of he's a bully.
He was 5. That's right. Okay.
He was a bully.
Well, he did beat the previous year's Big Cap winner when he won his final career race, Kayak II. Admittedly, I don't know as much about the 1930s class scale to know how good Gray Jack was, as an example. And Cigar, Cigar did run in. He stuck to the script throughout the meat of his big win streak with the Grade 1 wins. But it is interesting. Once that win streak kind of became the story, the Dubai World Cup ungraded, the Mass Cap ungraded, Citation Challenge ungraded, Pacific Classic lost, Jockey Club Gold Cup lost to Skip Away in the sort of passing of the baton. And then he didn't win the Breeders' Cup Classic to close out his career. So certainly the middle, 16 straight, world class. But, Seabiscuit, I thought once those 2-year-old woes were over and he joined the new barn, took it to another level. And I really think we're glossing over too much. And I've tried to make this point. This is a match race. And that's a huge dynamic when it comes to on the track performance. And I just think that unquestionably favors Seabiscuit.
Time, Randy, finish your thought, but time is up.
Okay, you're right. The match race but that's what it is. At the best of Cigar's time and the best of Seabiscuit's time. And that's
this isn't a tale of two cities. Time over 60 years is tough to gauge.
Oh, I mean,
this horse won the right races.
Yeah, the best they were at that time, and against the best they were.
I got you.
Okay. The peak of their career.
The peak of their career, and that's what I mean. And Seabiscuits, I'm going with the War Admiral thing, and I'm going with Cigar. Yes, in the middle of his streak, though, that's when I want him. That's when I want him running in this race.
No, you can have him. I'll still take you down.
All right. Well, let's move on to Deliberation. I feel like this is kind of a tough one for me. AJ, would you like to start this off?
Yeah, this is super tough because I do like Randy. I thought you made a great point because it did seem like, okay, well, it's hard to discredit it's a match race, Seabiscuit, War Admiral, and then you drop the bomb of, well, he was 5 and he was 3. He's just a bully. Like there is I think there might be some validity to that, but it's still hard to overlook the fact that, this is that style of race and that's what we're talking about here. So I don't know. Sarah, do you want to give thoughts before I give vote? Because I still
Deliberation.
Think about it.
You guys can go back and forth.
Yeah. No, I agree with the strong points both Ed and Randy made, especially as far as Seabiscuit. Obviously the match race with War Admiral I knew was going to be a huge point when it comes to this discussion, as well as Cigar. You brought up his. Some of the horses he raced against, and for his time period, those are pretty good horses too. I mean, to be honest, this is what I'm like really struggling with here. Like I think Ed said, this is all time period. Seabiscuit was the best of his. Cigars was great for his. Now these two against each other, I'm struggling here.
The more I think about it, Randy's biggest case towards the end there was the 3 versus 5, but at the same time, you did beat a 3-year-old horse who was at the peak, and it was a Triple Crown winner.
Yeah.
So maybe it's more impressive to me that he won it while he was 5. Now that I think about it.
And I
allowed to interject here or no?
No, you can't, because I want to too. No, you can't, because you have a great point here. I know this already. You're not allowed. Okay, you can interject. You can interject, Ed. Go ahead. You can help.
There weren't any good 3-year-olds in the 90s. If there was American Pharaoh, Cigar may not have won the Classic that year. I mean, who's he going to face? Real Quiet? I mean, I love the horse. Well, that was 98, so no. But, Go for Gin? Come on.
Well, I think. Did you want to interject? Because you said you.
No, because he's got a point there.
Okay.
I don't really want to go on that.
I think with the point I'm going to stick with that I think is going to sway my decision is when it comes to match races, Seabiscuit knows how to fight in a match race. I mean, he raced against a Triple Crown.
That's Cigar's fault. He never got a match race. They didn't do that after the whole tragedy thing.
Well, we're talking about these horses in their prime. That was this is very tough. And I think I'm going to sway Seabiscuit. And I'm not like I said, I'm not 100% convinced on my own decision, but I'm going to sway Seabiscuit, and we're talking like Seabiscuit's a 10 and Cigar's like a 9.9.
Here we go with the scale thing.
No.
Started this crap?
I think it was you.
I know, that's why I said it.
I'm gonna jump on board too. I'm gonna take.
Oh my God!
I'm gonna take grit and experience in a match race over what
So the whole argument, that's all it came down to. It's not Cigar's fault. He didn't have experience.
Well, that's his. I mean, that might be his biggest.
you didn't really make a good case either, though, that he could handle a match race, if I'm being honest.
Because I don't think he could, and honestly,
Well,
that's why I avoided it. Okay, Ed, this is when we. So you guys will. So this is when we all come out with the truth here, Ed, and this is what it is. That's why I avoided the match race thing, because I think Cigar was a horse that needed like a bunch of horses in a race, and I think he liked it. I don't know if he's a good match horse. I don't know. You know what I'm saying there, Ed? You know what I mean? And I did when you said how the race would go. I don't know. There's certain horses that want that field, and we did Rachel against Zenyatta. I feel like Zenyatta wants that field, and Rachel does it in a match race. So, I mean, Rachel wants a match race, and Zenyatta wants a field. So yeah, I avoided that, Ed. But okay, so you guys both voted for Ed. Shocker, I get beat again. Ed, nice job.
But you lost by like a 0.1
Oh, here
margin.
we go. And usually I lose by everything.
Yeah, usually there's a fairly decent number.
Let me start by saying, Ed, I agree with what you said especially after researching these guys. And growing up in the 90s, I will say watching horse racing, I always thought Cigar was overrated. And I'm kind of glad you said that, because I felt like if I said that.
Yeah, it's kind of a bad word.
Because like you said, I think, and I'm going to say this out loud right now, I'm going to get killed because of it. I think Zenyatta might be the most overrated American horse of all time. Not because she wasn't great. And you hit on this point. But I think we act like she was like Secretariat.
Yeah.
And that's why. Not because she wasn't great. And I like you brought that up. Because I think Cigar at that point had that. Cigar never ran into Skipaway at that time either, correct? I don't think so.
He lost to
Skipaway.
Ran into him at the end.
And lost to Skipaway.
Yeah.
That would have been a good one, Cigar and Skipaway, I think, because I think Skipaway might have been a better horse than Cigar. Really.
I thought this was, to me, the two do have a lot of parallels with the slow start. And, Cigar actually did run a ton relative to that time. I mean, you're just never going to see a horse now, unfortunately, run, I wouldn't think 10 times in a year undefeated at that.
I
So
don't think so. I agree with that.
I appreciate, and that's how the Paulsons were with, whether it was Azeri or Cigar or others that weren't as good, but, they definitely liked running them. And I just never saw Cigar in the same light as like a Bid or a Sunday Silence or, some of the horses that I more grew up with.
Dropping a bomb there. Spectacular Bid, the best of all time, you say?
That's my go for sure.
I missed that one, didn't I? Well, I didn't, because I brought it up and you tried to strike it from the record. We just had a conversation, Ed, that we did. I had to argue it again. What was it? I don't even know who I did at this point. John Henry. No.
Affirmed in John Henry. Affirmed.
Yeah.
Ran against Spectacular Bid in the Jockey Club Gold Cup.
Yes. And
that's another case of a 4-year-old beating a 3-year-old. But I would say Bid's 4-year-old season, just to me, no one could beat him that year.
All right. So now the little side note that Ed loves Spectacular Bid. So when we do Spectacular Bid versus, I don't know, Seattle Slew or something, we'll have to bring him on. But that's actually why we did it, Ed. We kind of did enough research where it was like, I feel like Seabiscuit and Cigar were kind of the same.
Parallelish careers.
Some parallels for sure.
Yeah,
which no one would ever think of those two, but that was the fun part. And I think Seabiscuit, what he did for the time and the trainer and the jockey and that whole story was fantastic. And I think Cigar for the 90s was fantastic, but they're going against each other.
Without question.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was fun. That was a lot of fun. Ed, it's always a pleasure to have you on our show.
Yeah, thank you. It was fun.
I really enjoy this.
And so everybody out there, Ed, where can they find you? What are you doing now? What's going on? I see the Twin Spires shirt on. We all know. Well, we don't know that. Tell us what's going on.
Twin Spires, obviously action all every day there online, but I am doing the picks for Turfway Park. So for those looking for something to do at night, Thursday through Saturday, I am on the simulcast feed, giving picks for Florence y'all. So it's been fun. I like the racing up there, and just happy to keep the Kentucky tradition going in the winter.
There you go. So there he
That's
is.
great. Yeah.
Yeah, follow on Ed and everything he does. He knows what he's doing, obviously. Knows a lot
A
more
little
than
bit.
we do.
Yeah.
But that's not saying much. But I should say a lot.
Debatable.
Yeah. Only
Oh.
AJ would say
I'll
that.
come on for that one.
Oh my gosh.
That's
this is
good.
Great.
I like that. That was awesome.
Well,
Ed, thank you.
Thank you so much. Happy
My
holidays
pleasure.
to you and your
Happy
family.
holidays to you. All right. We'll talk to you in 2021.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Talk soon, Ed.
All right. Take care.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Bye-bye.
Triple Clowns is a production of the team at Big Umbrella. Rate and review our podcast on Apple Podcasts. Send us your questions at tripleclowns@gmail.com and you may be featured on a future episode. Follow us on social media at ClownsTriple on Twitter and Instagram, and follow me, AJ Ryder, at Troy McClain WWE on Twitter. Like and subscribe to our show on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, or wherever fine podcasts are downloaded. All right, guys, for AJ Ryder, I'm out of here. See you later, everybody.